Hello everyone. So in this session, we will be discussing about JFET biasing numericals. So let us start. So the biasing circuits for JFET will be fixed bias, self bias, and voltage divider bias. So let us directly start with numerical number one. So here we have to identify the type of biasing and find the VGS, ID, VD, and VDS for circuit number one as given below. And we need to plot the DC load line and locate the Q point. So here the circuit is given. JFET parameters are IDSS equal to 10 milliamperes, VP is minus 4 volt, and VDD is around 8 volts. This is the value of RD. This is around 1 kilo ohm. This is RG, and this is VGG voltage. So which circuit it is? It is a circuit one is your fixed bias employing the N channel JFET. So it is a fixed bias circuit. Since we are applying a fixed voltage supply at the gate terminal, which is reverse. So we mark the details over here. So here we have RD, RG, VGG. Here the drain, this is the drain terminal and the source terminal. So we have the voltage marked as VDS and VGS. Okay, here it is IG. This is the input loop and this is the output loop. And the current flowing through the resistor RD is ID. Now let us start with the solution. So we have been given a task of finding out the VGS, ID, VD, and VDS voltages for this circuit. So over here, what we can observe is ID is 0 because of reverse bias gate source junction in a JFET. So VRG, the voltage drop across this resistor also will be 0. Now applying the KVL at the input loop, we get VGG, minus VGG minus IGRG minus VGS is equal to 0. Okay, but over here, if we see carefully, IG is 0 for a JFET. So your VGS will be equal to minus VGG. So your VGSQ will be equal to minus 2 because VGG supply voltage is 2 volt. Now since VGG is fixed DC supply, the voltage VGS is also fixed in magnitude. Hence the name of the circuit is fixed bias circuit. Okay, so we have been successful to find out the value of VGSQ. Next, now assuming that the JFET is working in the saturation region, the drain current is given by this equation. ID is equal to IDSS 1 minus VGS upon VP. Over here, IDSS value is given and VGS value we found out just, it is minus 2 and VP value is minus 4, the whole square. So substitute it over here. So this will be 1 minus, this is half square, which will be 1 by 4. So 10 divided by 4 will be 2.5. So the drain current will be 2.5 milliamperes. Now in the next step, we want to find VDS. So we apply the KVL to the drain source loop. So what do we get by applying the KVL to the drain source loop? We'll get VDD minus IDRD minus VDS is equal to 0. Okay, and we are supposed to find the value of VDS. So VDS will be VDD minus IDRD. VDD value is 8 volt, ID is 2.5 milli, and RD is 1 kilo ohm. So your VDS value comes out to be, if you solve it, you will get it around 5.5 volt. Now, what will be VDS, VD? VDS is VD minus VS and VS is 0. You can check the circuit. The source terminal is connected to the ground. So VDS voltage will be equal to VD voltage, which is equal to 5.5. So our Q point will be VGSQ, IDQ, which is minus 2, 2.5 milliamperes. Now, we have to locate the Q point. So we require the equation of the DC load line. Now the equation of the DC load line is VGS equal to. So in our case, VGS is equal to minus VGG. Okay. So how do we plot this line? This is my axis ID versus VGS. So VGS equal to minus VGG, it will be a straight line parallel to the y-axis having a coordinate of minus 2, 0. Okay. So this is how the DC load line looks like. Now we have to plot the transfer curve on the graph paper. Okay, so we have to plot the transfer curve with the help of the following table. So what is this table and where did you get this table from? We will soon discuss that. So VGS value for 4 values, we have the 4 different values of ID. So when VGS is 0, ID is IDSS. When VGS is 0.3 times VP, ID is IDSS by 2, and so on. When VGS is 0.5 VP, ID is IDSS by 4. And when VGS is VP, ID is 0. So where did we got this information from? We got it from here. So we remember this formula, ID is equal to IDSS 1 minus VGS upon VP the whole square. So when VGS is 0, ID will be equal to IDSS. When VGS is 0.3, if you work it out, you will get ID will be equal to IDSS by 2 approximately. And when VGS is equal to 0.5 VP, ID will be equal to IDSS by 4. And when VGS is equal to VP, ID will be 0. So we know that the transfer curve is a nonlinear curve, and for drawing the nonlinear, we require at least 4 points. So in our given example, IDSS is given as 10 milliamperes, VP is given as -4. So we plug in these values in this table, and we'll get this table as 0, -1.2, -2, -4. Correspondingly, the values of ID are 10 milliamperes, 5, 2.5 milliamperes, and 0. So we have to plot these transfer curves using these points on the in the table on the graph paper. So next we plot the transfer curve on the graph paper. So right now we can take accurate measurements. Why graph paper? Because you can symmetrically place your point. Okay. So you first draw this green color transfer curve with the help of these points, 4 points. And next we plot the DC load line. And now whenever my DC load line intersects my transfer curve, that will be my Q point. As you can see, here is my Q point. So here your VGSQ will be -2 and IDQ correspondingly will be 2.5. Okay. So the intersection of the load line and the transfer curve gives the Q point. And this Q point by graphical method is matching with the analytical method. So we have here Q point as VGSQ, which is -2, and IDQ, which is 2.5. Now we will do one interesting thing. What we will do is we'll simulate this circuit in SPICE. Okay, we'll simulate the circuit in LT SPICE and cross-check the values which you have obtained, analytically. So let me just make this like this. So this is my LT SPICE. I've already opened a new schematic. So go to the library, click on NJF, that is here N channel JFET, and place it onto the schematic. Now we have to select a register. So we have selected one register, and here another register will come out. And then we require two power supplies, one for VDD and one for VGG. So again, we'll go over here. We'll type voltage. So two supplies have appeared. One will be going here and other will be going here. And now we have to join them with the wire. Okay. So we'll connect them quickly. We are just going to verify whether the values which we are getting analytically are matching or no. So here we'll connect the remaining with the wire, and lastly we have left out with this. Okay, we have done the connections. We have to add the ground now. So here is the ground. More or less the circuit connections are over. Now we have to label them properly. So I will right click over here and call this as RG. Okay, so let me just expand this out. Okay, this will be RG, and the value of RG is 1 mega. Remember how to write 1 mega, capital MEG, small MEG. So this is the way. You cannot write 1 M. It will take it as milli. So we have to write, if you want to write 1 mega, we have to write 1 MEG in SPICE. So here I'll right click and give the value as 2 volt. Oh, it is actually, the supply is actually reverse. VGG supply is reverse. So what I will do is I'll connect it over here and rotate it and place it again. Okay, yeah. Now it is absolutely fine. Let me go back to the circuit connections. So this value of voltage will be VGG. Very quickly, we will label this as RD, and the value of RD is 1 kilo ohm. This is VDD, and the value is given as 8 volt in the numerical. So we have given here 8 volt. Right now we can name this as NJF1. Okay, and we have to define the model parameters. Now JFET parameters are IDSS and VP, which is given as 10 milliampere and -4. Now in the dot model statement, we cannot directly enter these values IDSS and VP. So what we will do is we'll right click. I'll add a comment. Okay, so what is that comment about? that your value of IDSS is calculated using the formula. So over here, there is something called as beta, which is given by the formula IDSS divided by VP the whole square. Indirectly, we are calculating. So calculate IDSS, which is 10 milliamperes divided by 4 square, which is 16. So that comes out to be 0.625 into 10 raised to minus 3. So I can write E minus 3. So I've written over here. Okay. So why we calculate this in the dot model statement, if I define, I'll right click, go to draft, go to spice directive, and I'll start writing the dot model statement. So I'll write dot model NJF1, which is the reserve name. I mean, which is we have named the JFET as, then will be reserve word NJF. Here, VP also cannot be entered as VP. It has to be entered as VTO, which is equal to minus 4 volt. And indirectly, we have to enter the value of IDSS in terms of beta. Now, this is not the beta of the BJT. This is the different reserve word which they have calculated. So according to us, the beta is coming out to be 0.625 into 10 raised to minus 3. So we add this dot model statement like this. So for different JFET parameters, accordingly, the VTO and the beta value will change. Okay, it is clear. And now we are ready to simulate the circuit. So go to simulate, click on run. Before doing that, let us label the nodes. So I'll right click on this and add as a drain terminal. This is the gate terminal and this is the source terminal. So let me name it properly. This is the drain one. This is the gate terminal, and that's the source actually, which is connected to the ground. It has no meaning, but still we have defined it for simplicity. And now we are ready to check out the values. So we'll go to simulate, click on run, and click on the DC operating point, and then click on OK. The moment you click on OK, you will get all the values, right? But you close this, we can view this in the spice error log. So what you have to do is go to view, click on spice error log, and here are all the values for this particular JFET NJF1. Okay, so for these particular JFET, for JFET transistors, these are the parameters for this circuit we got. So what are the parameters? VGS is -2, that is absolutely correct. And then what did we get the value of ID? ID we got it as 2.5 and it is coming 2.5, which is also correct. VDS is around 5.5, that is also correct. So we are getting the correct parameters. We can copy it into the screen. Okay, right click, draft, comment, and we can note down these parameters over here. Okay, so these are the parameters which we are getting, which is exactly matching with what we got in the numerical. Okay, so that's how you can easily verify any circuit in using LT-Spice. So let us move on to the next numerical now. So this was about numerical number 1. We'll move on to the next part. Okay, so for numerical number 2, we have to determine IDQ and VGSQ for the circuit number 2 by graphical method. So if you identify carefully, the circuit number 2 is the self-biasing circuit. Okay, why self-biasing? Because your gate terminal is directly connected with a resistor. So that means the gate voltage is 0 because the current flowing through the resistor RG, that is gate current, is 0. Fine. So this is a self-biased circuit. Your VDD supply is given, RD and RS values are given, and the JFET parameters are also given. Fortunately, they are the same over here. IDSS is 10 milliamperes and VP is -4 as the last numerical. Now we have to solve this graphically. So from the circuit, VG is 0, as we have discussed, as IG is 0. What will be VS? VS will be voltage across the source terminal will be ID into RS. So what will be VGS minus IDRS? So what is this, VGS equal to minus IDRS? It is the equation of the DC load line. So in this equation, if we substitute ID equal to 0, we get VGS equal to 0. So our first point will be 0, 0. And next case, we put ID equal to IDSS by 4, that is 10 milliampere by 4, which will give ID as 2.5 milliamperes. So VGS will be minus IDRS. So it will be minus 2.5 into 1.2 kilo ohms, which will be -3. Okay. So our second point will be -3, 2.5 milliamperes. Now we have 2 points. We can draw a line. So we know that if we plot the DC load line using these 2 points coordinates, you will get this line. So this is my DC load line for a self-biasing circuit. Next, we plot the transfer curve on the graph paper using the table. We have discussed this, how this table has come up before. And since the parameters are similar to last one, we have readily got this value. So as soon as this table is ready with you, plug in the values of IDSS and VP, and there it is. And now using these values, we need to plot the transfer curve on the graph paper. So here it is how it looks like. So when we also draw the DC load line as well as the transfer characteristics, the intersection will give us the Q point. And in our case, the VGSQ is coming out to be minus 2.25 and IDQ is coming out to be 1.89 milliamperes. So the intersection of the DC load line and the transfer curve gives us the Q point. Okay, so these are the values of VGSQ and IDQ values which we obtain graphically. Now I'll just showcase how does it looks like on a graph paper. Okay, so this is how the plot looks like on a graph paper if you take it to the scale. So you plot the transfer curve and the DC load line, and the intersection will give us the Q point. Okay, minus 2.25 and 1.89. Fine. Now let us check this out using LT-Spice. Let us simulate the circuit in LT-Spice and let us check what values which we are getting. So the only change over here is addition of RS and removal of VGG. So that is very easy. We'll remove this VGG, and also we have to delete this wire and add a resistor over here. So this will easily become my self-biasing circuit just by making these two changes. So I'll connect it like this. Okay, over here I have to modify the values now as per the given data. So VDD is given as 18 volt here. RD value it's 3 kilo ohm. RG is 1 mega ohm, that is okay. And RS value, this let me label it as RS, and RS value is 1.2 kilo ohm. Okay, and the JFET parameters are same. So the dot model parameters will be same as IDSS will be 10 milliamperes and VP will be -4. So we have entered this data over here. Okay, so now what is left out? We have to simulate and we have to check whether we are getting these values or no. Fine. So we'll go to simulate, click on run. We already have .dc model. We'll close this and we'll go to view and check the SPICE error log. Okay, and we'll maximize these points. So for this numerical, we are getting ID as 1.89 milliamperes, and it is coming close. I mean, exactly the same as for the graphical method. And VGSQ is minus 2.26. We are getting minus 2.25 in the graphical method. That is also absolutely correct. So in this manner, we are getting the values correctly. Okay, let me add that values over here by going to draft and the comment, and here it is. So these are the values which we are getting for this type of, for the self-biasing circuit, and these values are exactly matching. ID is 1.89 milliamperes and VGS is 2.25. Okay, so this was about the numerical number 2. Let us move on to the numerical number 3. So let me open that now. So for numerical number 3, it is a voltage divider bias. So we have to again determine IDQ and VGSQ by graphical method. So here R1 and R2 are the biasing resistors, which will be biasing the gate terminal, providing a DC biasing at the gate. And the JFET parameters are given slightly different. Right now it is 8 milliamperes and -4. VP is -4. Okay. So now let us continue, start our discussion. So what will be VG? VG will be R2 divided by R1 plus R2 into VDD. So here it comes out to be 1.82. So VS is IDRS. So VGS will be VS minus VS, VG minus VS. That will be 1.82 minus ID times RS. And RS value is 1.5K. So our first equation is this. VGS is equal to 1.82 minus 1.5K times ID. So this equation number 1 is the equation of the DC load line. Remember, we are solving it by graphical method. So we have to identify the equation of the DC load line. So in this equation, if I substitute ID equal to 0, what will be my VGS? 1.82. So the first point will be 1.82, 0. And in the next condition, I'll substitute VGS equal to 0. So ID will be 1.82 divided by 1.5K, which comes out to be 1.21 milliamperes. So the second point will be 0, 1.21 milliamperes. And now we got the 2 points. We have to join these 2 points. So here it is, ID versus VGS curve. and we have the 2 points, and this is how the DC load line will look like. It will start from the positive VGS axis, and it will intersect the y-axis at this point 0, 1.21 milliamperes, and here it is. This is the DC load line. Next, we plot the transfer curve on the graph paper using this following table. Okay, so VGS value, we have already seen how to get this table, and we plug in the values of IDSS and VP. So we get this new values of IDSS and VGS over here. Okay, so it is for VGS equal to 0, ID is 8 milliamperes. For minus 1.2 volt VGS, ID is 4. For minus 2, it is 2 milliamperes, and for minus 4, it is 0. So using these 4 values, we have to plot the transfer curve on the graph paper to the scale. So next we draw the DC load line, and whenever the DC load line and the transfer curve intersects, that gives us the Q point. So the Q point over here comes out to be minus 1.75, and your IDQ is coming out to be 2.4 milliamperes. So the intersection of the transfer curve and the DC load line will give us the Q point by graphical method. Now let us check this out in SPICE. Okay, so we have to modify the circuit accordingly. So for modification, we have to change certain things over here. So first of all, let me put it to full screen. So I'll push this somewhere around here, and I'll delete this. We require 2 registers. So over here, 1 more register. Now this becomes a voltage divider bias, or potential divider. Okay, I have to rename the value of registers. So I can do that right now. So over here, let me just take this below. Yeah, and let me try it out again. Yes, so the value of VDD given here is 16 volt. This is R1, and R1 value is 2.1. Remember, capital MEG. This is R2. R2 value is 270. So it is 270 kilo ohms. RD value is 2.4K. So I'll substitute 2.4K. RS value is 1.5K. Yeah, and VDD is 16. And we have to change the model parameters. Right now, the model parameters are 8 milliamperes and minus 4. So your IDSS upon VP square will change. So the new value will be 8 milliamperes divided by 4 square, which is coming out to be 0.5, into 10 raised to minus 5. Okay, so here in the dot model statement, it will be same as before. BTO will be minus 4, but here beta will be 0.5 into 10 raised to minus 3. This will make sure that the JFET parameters are IDSS equal to 8 and VP equal to minus 4. Okay, and now only thing to do is simulate the circuit, because already we are in the operating point, and now we can check the SPICE error log. So here is my SPICE error log. Let us cross check the values. Yeah, it is a graphical method, so slight deviation is expected. So if you solve it analytically, you will get the value of VGS as minus 1.8, and the value of the drain current will be 2.42. Now this much precision you won't get in a graphical method. In the graphical method, max you can go it's 2.4 milliamperes, and VGSQ is minus 1.8. Okay, so yeah, it's coming quite close. If you solve it by formulas, you will get the exact values. So these are the values which we are getting, which is absolutely correct. Let me add those values over here. Yeah. So this voltage divider bias is giving us the proper values, and yeah, these are cross validated with the graphical values which we have obtained. So this was about the numerical number 3. Let us move on further. Okay, so next we move on to the next part. This was numerical number 3. Let us see numerical number 4. So numerical number 4 is in a self-biasing circuit. ID and VDS value is given. We have to find the value of RS and RD. Okay, so exactly reverse of what we were doing. So we have to find the value of RD and RS. The JFET parameters are IDSS and VP, 5 milliamperes and minus 2. So let us see how do we do that. How do we do that? So here the value of RG is not given. We substitute the value. We assume the value of RG to be 1 mega. Since the current IG is 0, so we have to select a higher value. Now we assume that the given JFET is operating in the saturation region. So the current ID formula will be IDSS into 1 minus VGS upon VP. And if you rearrange this formula, you will get VGS is equal to VP times 1 minus square root of ID upon IDSS. So over here, VP value is given, ID and IDSS value is also given. And even work out in a calculator, you will get VGS equal to minus 0.904 volt. Now, for the self bias, VG is 0, correct? For the self biasing circuit, the gate voltage is 0. So VGS will be equal to minus VS. So your VS will be equal to 0.904 volt. Now, VS is also given by the formula IDRS. So RS will be VS upon ID, and VS value is 0.904, ID value is 1.5. So you get the value of RS as 602.66, that is 603 ohms. And now we apply the KVL to the drain source loop. What do we get? VDD minus IDRD minus VDS minus IDRS is equal to 0. Okay, so here we isolate the term IDRD and rest all the terms are on the right hand side. So from here, RD will be equal to VDD minus VDS minus IDRS divided by ID. We plug in all the values and you'll get the value of RD as 6.06 kilo ohms. Okay, so we have found out the value of RS and RD, right? Now let us check this out in SPICE, LT SPICE. Okay, so again, we have to make it as a self biasing. So we have to remove this wire and this resistor from here. So now this becomes a self biasing circuit again. So this I will rename it as RG. RG value, we have assumed it to be 1 mega ohm. Okay, it is 1 MEG. RD value, we got it as 6.06. So we'll substitute 6.06 exact value. Okay, and RS value came out to be 602.66. So we can substitute decimal points. It's a simulation software, but in reality, we might have to select a nearest standard value. And what are the supply voltage? The supply voltage VDD is 20 volt, and the parameter JFET parameters are different over here. JFET parameters are 5 milliampere and -2. So accordingly, your beta value will change. So 5 milliamperes divided by 2 square. Okay, so we'll get value as 1.25 into 10 raised to -3. That is the value of beta we get. So we modify the dot model statement. Here it will be -2 and here it will be 1.25. Okay, so this makes sure that this model statement makes sure that this JFET have these parameters. IDS is equal to 5 milliamperes and VP equal to -2. Now let us simulate this and check out whether we are getting the proper values. We'll go to view, we'll go to SPICE error log, and here are all the values which we are getting. Okay, so what's the value of VGS? VGS is -0.904 and it is -9.04 into 10 raised to -1. That is same. Okay, and what is the ID value? ID value was given in the numerical as 1.5 and it is 1.5. VDS value was 10, it is 10 over here. You see it is 1.00 into 10 raised to 1. So that is 10. Okay, so all the values are exactly matching for this numerical also. Okay, let me add those values over here. So these are the values which we are getting. It's exactly matching with the numerical. Okay, so every numerical you can verify it like this. Now let's go to numerical number 5. So again, determine the value of RD and RS to set up the approximate midpoint bias with VD equal to 6 volt. Now here it is given midpoint bias. Okay, the JFET parameters are slightly different over here, and RG value is 1 mega ohm given. VDD is 12 volt, VP value is -3, and IDSS is 12 milliamperes. Now, for midpoint biasing, we have the following condition. ID will be becoming IDSS by 2. That will be 12 milliamperes divided by 2, that is 6 milliamperes. And VD will be VDD by 2, that is 6 volt. Now we know the value of ID and VD. Now we can find the value of VGS. So assume that the given JFET is operating in the saturation region. So ID formula will be IDSS into 1 minus VGS upon VP the whole square. We can rewrite this formula as VGS is equal to VP times 1 minus square root of ID upon IDSS. So we plug in these values and we'll got the value of VGS as minus 0.878 volt. Now we got the value of VGS, Vs value will be positive because VGS will be minus times Vs. Okay, so Vs will be 0.878 volts. Now we got the value of Vs. We can calculate the value of Rs. Vs is given by IDRs. So Rs will be equal to Vs upon ID. That will be 0.878 divided by 6 milliamperes. So it will come out to be 146.33, approximately equal to 147 ohms. Then we apply the KVL to the drain source loop. Okay, so when we apply the KVL to the drain source loop, we get VDD minus IDRD minus VDS minus RS is equal to 0. So what we can instead write, we can write VDD minus IDRD minus VD equal to 0. So from here IDRD we isolate. So right hand side will be VDD minus VD. So RD will be VDD minus VD divided by ID, which will come out to be 1 kilo ohm. Okay, so RD and RS value are found out. Now let's plug in these values in the LT Spice and let's check it out. So over here, the VDD supply is 12 volt. The value of RD is coming out to be 1 kilo ohm. So we'll substitute 1 kilo ohm. The value of RS was 146. We can substitute the decimal points also. So let's put it as it is. And RG is 1 mega ohm as usual. Let us check the parameters, the JFET parameters. So the JFET parameters are 12 and minus 3. So we have to accordingly change this value of beta. So it will be 12 milliamperes divided by 3 square. It will be IDSS divided by VP square. That comes out to be 1.33. Okay, 3333. 1.33 milli. So accordingly, the dot model statement, the VTO will become as minus 3 and beta will be 1.3333 into 10 raised to minus 3. Okay, and now we have to just click on simulate. You close this and you can go to view and check the spice error log. Okay, so once you check the spice error log, the value of ID, it's coming out to be 6 and we got it 6 only. The value of VGS is coming out to be 0.878. It is coming out to be minus 8.78 into 10 raised to minus 1. That is same actually. And yeah, the VD value also, it's I mean all the two values are proper. ID and VGS is proper. Okay, so in this way we can find out the cross check the values via simulation. Now let us move on to the next numerical. This was numerical number 5. Let us move on to numerical number 6. So numerical number 6, this is the data given over here. We have to find ID, VGS, ID, and VDS. Additionally, we have to determine the region of operation. And here we have to do it by zero temperature drift technique. So the value of RG, RD, RS, and VDD are given. The JFET parameters are also defined over here. Sorry. So the JFET parameters, IDSS is given, VP is given. IDSS is 7 milliamperes, VP is minus 2.5. So let us proceed by zero temperature drift. So the condition for zero temperature drift biasing is mod of VP minus VGS. Mod of VGS should be 0.63. So that means VP value is given as 2.5. So VGS will be minus 1.78. Now we assume that the given JFET is operating in the saturation region. So ID will be given by IDSS into 1 minus VGS upon VP. IDSS is given as 7 milliamperes, correct? Yeah. And VP is minus 2.5, VGS is minus 1.87. You plug in these values into calculator, you will get ID as 0.44 milliamperes. Now next we apply the KVL to the drain source loop for cell bias. So we calculate the value of VDS, it will be VDD minus ID times RD plus RS. So plug in all the values, you will get VDS equal to 9.28 volt. Now we have to determine in which operating region the JFET is working. So since VDS is 9.28, which is greater than VGS minus VP. What is VGS minus VP? VGS is minus 1.87 and VP is minus 2.5. So VGS minus VP will be 0.63 volt. So indeed the VGS is greater than VGS minus VP. And also the VGS is greater than VP. Minus 1.87 is greater than minus 2.5. So since these two conditions are satisfied, the given JFET device is operating in the saturation region. Okay, so now let's check this out in Spice quickly. We have to just modify it over here. So RD value is 9.1K, RS value it's over 3.9 kilo ohms, and RG is 1 mega ohm. Supply voltage VDD is 15 volt, and here the parameters of JFET are 7 milliamperes and 2.5 volt, minus 2.5 volt. So 7 milliamperes divided by VP square, that is 2.5 square. It's coming out to be 1.12. Okay, so beta value over here, it's coming out to be 1.12 into 10 raised to minus 3. So we'll change it accordingly to in the dot model statement also. So we'll change VTO to minus 2.5 volt and beta as 1.12 into 10 raised to minus 3. So now we have to just simulate. Click on run, close this, and go to view. Click on the Spice error log, and here it is. All the values are available now. Okay, so here the value of ID is slightly deviating. It's coming out to be 4.74 into 10 raised to minus 4, which is same as 0.474. We are using a zero temperature drift, so that's an assumption. So there will be a slight deviation. That is absolutely fine. And VGS value is 1.87 by this technique, by zero temperature drift, and by analytical method it's coming out to be minus 1.85 in simulation. That's quite close. And VDS value, well, with these values of ID and VGS, slightly it will be deviation, but mainly the ID and VGS values should match, and it is actually perfectly matching. Okay, so these slight variations are observed because this zero temperature drift biasing is an assumption. Okay, so yeah, so next we move on to the next numerical. This was about numerical number 6. We'll go to numerical number 7. So this is a numerical number 7. The value, we have to find the value of ID, VGS and VDS, and also determine the region of operation. So over here, it's slightly different. The gate terminal is grounded. Supply voltage VDD is given as 16 volt. RD value is given. RS value is given. And instead of RS, register RS connected to the ground, we have given over here, they have given as minus 4 volt, minus VSS. And JFET parameters are given. We are supposed to find the value of ID, VGS and VDS, and also determine the region of operation. So let us begin the analysis. So when we apply the KVL to the gate source loop, what you will get? 0 minus VGS minus IDRS plus VSS is equal to 0. Okay, so what will be VGS? VGS will be equal to VSS minus IDRS. Over here, VSS is already considered negative because we have written minus VSS. So VSS value will be 4 minus IDRS. RS is 2.2K. So this equation number 1 will be VGS equal to 4 minus ID times 2.2K. Now next we assume that the JFET is working in the saturation region. So ID will be equal to IDSS into 1 minus VGS upon VP the whole square. And it will be equal to, ID will be equal to 6 milliamperes. And VP value is minus 6. So yeah. So it will become 1 plus VGS upon 6 the whole square. So we get equation number 2. Now if you carefully look at these two equations, there are two unknowns, ID and VGS. So what do? We put equation number 2 in 1. So we'll get VGS is equal to 4 minus ID times. Now ID is 6 milliamperes into this. So it will be multiplied by 2.2K. So VGS will be equal to 4 minus 2.2K into 6 milliamperes into 1 plus VGS upon 6 the whole square. So we open the bracket and we solve it analytically. And finally, you will get a quadratic equation, which is 0.3667 VGS square plus 5.4 VGS plus 9.2 equal to 0. Solving this, we get two values of VGS. One is minus 1.966 and other is minus 12.75. So which is the correct one? Whichever is VGS value is greater than VP. So VP value is minus 6. So minus 1.966 is greater than VP. Hence we select this value of VGS. So for this value of VGS, calculate the value of ID. So ID formula is ID is equal to IDSS 1 minus VGS upon VP the whole square. So we plug in these values. So ID will come out to be 2.71 milliamperes. Next, we applied a KVL to the drain source loop. So what we will get? VDD minus IDRD minus VDS minus IDRS plus VSS equal to 0. Okay. So here is the equation. So VDS will be VDD plus VSS minus ID into RD plus RS. So we plug in all the values. VDS comes out to be 8.076 volt. Also, if you want to find out VD, it will be VDD minus IDRD. That comes out to be 10.03 8 volts. And now we check the condition whether the JFET is in working in the saturation or no. VDS is 8 volts around. VGS minus VP value is coming out to be 4.03. So that means VDS value is greater than VGS minus VP. Also, VGS is greater than VP. That is minus 1.966 is greater than minus 6. So since these two conditions are satisfied, the given device JFET is working in the saturation region. Now let's try to build a circuit quickly in LTSpice and find out the results. So over here, we require one more supply voltage. Okay. So what do we do is over here, we'll go to the library and select one more component. So first of all, we'll delete from here this thing. So we have to connect one more supply voltage. So I click on the component. Okay, I can copy this. Yeah. So one more supply voltage has been added. Then I will join them together. The below one is negative and the above one is positive. And there will be the common ground which will be coming from here. Okay. So this will be the common ground. Let me name the power supply properly now. This is around 16 volt. This value, its supply voltage is called as minus VSS. Okay, it is connected negative. So we can call it VSS and the value is around 4 volt. Then the value of VG is absent, so that means RG is not present. So yeah, directly connected to the ground. VG, the gate terminal is directly grounded. And then the RD value and RS value are same, equal to 2.2K. RS value is also 2.2K. Okay, and VDD is 16 volts. What about JFET parameters? IDSS is 6 milliamperes and VP is minus 6. So it will be 6 milliamperes divided by 6 square, which is coming out to be 0.166. Beta is coming out to be 0.1666. Okay, so we'll modify the dot model statement accordingly. BTO will be minus 6 and beta will be equal to 0.1666. Okay, and now we are ready to simulate the circuit and verify the answers. So we'll click on simulate, click on run. Already the DC operating point is valid. So we'll go to view and check the SPICE error log to check the value of ID, VGS and VDS. So over here, the VGS value, it's coming out to be slightly different over here. Let me cross check that. Yeah, let me see if anything is missed out. Yeah, RD is 2.2K, RS is 2.2K. Here it is connected negative supply, correct it is. And here RD value is 2.2K and beta value is 6 milliamperes divided by 6 square, which is, let me cross check that once, 0.166. Yeah, it is correct. And VTO is also minus 6 volts. Okay, so maybe in this case, analytical calculations might be slightly mistaken. So please check that. Let me cross check the values over here. Okay. So I guess over here, the values are not slightly matching. I need to check out on the theoretical calculations. I'll get back and recheck the theoretical calculations because the SPICE simulation it's showing the values as, let me show it to you once. So let us be honest about it. The ID value, it's different. The VGS value is different. All the values are not matching actually. So I need to recheck this numerical again and check out its value of ID, VGS and VGS and VDS. Okay, and get back to you on this. So I'll post it in the comment section. So maybe there is some slight error in the theoretical calculations. Other than that, everything else is, oh, okay. One more thing, wait. The gate terminal is grounded separately. The gate terminal is not given any voltage. Okay, so I have to separately ground the gate terminal. Let me try that and let me see if the values are matching. I hope so. Now they will be matching. So let me go to spice error log. Yes, I suppose they are matching now. So yeah, the mistake was the gate terminal was connected to the source terminal, which was connected to -4 volt, which is wrong. So gate terminal is separately grounded. That was the error. So ID value is coming out to be 2.41 milliamperes. VGS is 1.9697 approximately. VDS is 8.07. So all the values are perfectly matching for this numerical also. Now, let me expand this. So this was about numerical number 7. Okay. So let us move on to the next part. So one last one is remaining, numerical number 8 over here. Okay. So let's solve a easier one first. Let us complete numerical number 10 and 9 first, and then we'll move on to the numerical number 8. So numerical number 1, numerical number 9 is not about solving. It's about drawing the DC load line and locating the Q point for this circuit. So if you look carefully in this circuit, the gate voltage and source voltage is grounded. So VGS is equal to 0. Okay. Now since the gate and the source terminal are sorted, VGS is equal to 0. And let's assume that the device is operating in the saturation region. So ID will be equal to IDSS into 1 minus VGS upon VP, the whole square. So VGS is 0. So ID will be equal to IDSS. So how to locate the Q point for this over here? So here the DC load line is a straight line parallel to the y-axis and on the y-axis. So this is the DC load line, VGS equal to 0. And what is the Q point over here? Wherever the transfer curve intersects the DC load line, and it is intersecting at 0, IDSS. So what is the Q point? 0, IDSS. So the transfer curve of JFET intersects the DC load line at IDSS. So my Q point will be 0, IDSS. This was about numerical number 9. Let us go to numerical number 10. So over here, the value of VS is given as 2 volt. We have to determine the region of operation for the given device shown below. Okay. So over here, the value of RD is 2 kilo ohm. The value of RS is 1 kilo ohm. And RG is 1 mega ohm. And JFET parameters are given to us. IDSS is 7 and VP is -4. So since value of VS is given to us, VS is IDRS. So ID will be equal to VS upon RS, which will be 2 volt divided by 1K, which will be 2 milliamperes. And now if we apply the KVL to the drain source loop, we'll get the formula for VDS as VDD minus ID RD plus RS. So VDS is calculated to be around, coming out to be around 6 volts. So since VGS is 6 volts and VGS minus VP is 2 volt, VDS is greater than VGS minus VP. Okay, what is VGS? VGS is VG minus VS and VS is given as 2 volt. Okay, and VG is 0 because it is a self bias circuit. So VGS will be equal to -2. Okay, so VDS is greater than VGS minus VP and VGS is greater than VP, that is -2 is greater than -4. Hence the given device is working in the saturation region. So let us simulate this circuit and check out the values quickly. So over here, the VSS is 0 volt actually. Even if we don't connect, we connect to 0. That means the same. So RD value is 2K and VDD is around 12 volt. The value of RS is 1 kilo ohm. And your RG is connected as 1 mega ohm. Fine. So I'll have to cut this and add a resistor over here. And then I have to ground this thing. Okay. Or else what I can do is I can delete this. And now it becomes, the circuit is complete now. So the value of RG is, let me label it first. The value of RG is 1 megohm, usually very high. Fine. And now the parameters. The JFET parameters are 7 and -4. So your beta value will be IDSS upon VP square, that is 7 milliamperes divided by 4 square, which comes out to be 0.4375. You can cross check these numbers. 4375 milliamp, into 10⁻⁻3. So accordingly, the dot model statement will change. VTO will become as -4 and beta value will be 0.4375. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to simulate. Click on run. Okay, it should be 1 megohm. Sorry, it should be 1 megohm. By mistake, question mark came. So we'll click on run. We close this. We'll go to view and check the spice error log. So here is the spice error log. Let us check the values of ID. Okay, so here is an assumption key the VS value is 2 volt. So we will get an approximate results. IDs around 2 milliamperes we'll get because VS was 2 volt. Okay, and VDS value, it's coming out to be around close to 6. It's coming different over here. That's absolutely fine because here they have assumed that the value of VS is around 2 volt. Okay, let's cross check once if we have given all the values correctly. Yes, all the values are correctly. Only thing is that here the assumption is VS is 2 volt, which may or may not be true. So we are getting close enough results. ID is 2 milliamperes and here we are getting 1.91. Similarly, VDS is 6. We are getting 6.27. Okay, so slight deviation is there. But more or less, they are quite close. They are not so much different. We have come to the last numerical. So it's about your P channel JFET. Okay, so we have been given a P channel JFET and we have been asked to find the value of ID, VGS and VDS. So over here, the VDD supply is negative. It's around 20 volt. R1, R2, RD, RS values are given to us. And the JFET parameters are given. IDSS and VP. VP is +4 over here. Okay, so the VP value is +4 and IDSS is 8 milliamperes. Let us start solving this. From the circuit, what is VG? VG will be R2 divided by R1 plus R2 into minus VDD, which is coming out to be minus 4.55 volt. Okay, next VGS is VG minus VS. And what is VS in this case? The current is in the opposite direction. So VS will be minus IDRS. So VS will be over here minus IDRS. So what will be VGS? VGS will be VG minus VS, which is minus 4.55 minus or minus IDRS. So VGS will be equal to minus 4.55 plus ID times into 1.8 kilo ohms. This is equation number 1. Now, assuming that the JFET is working in the saturation region, again, we can write this formula. The formula remains the same for P channel as well as N channel JFET. So over here, ID value is it's around IDSS, ID formalized IDSS into 1 minus VGS upon VP the whole square. So over here, IDSS is 8 milliamperes. VGS is, we have to find out, and VP value is 4 volt. So ID will be equal to this equation number 2. Okay. So if you look carefully, equation number 1 and 2, there are 2 unknowns, ID and VGS. So we have to solve this simultaneously. So what we do is we put the value of 2 in 1. So what you will get? You will get VGS equal to minus 4.55 plus 8 milli into 1.8 K into this expansion of this 1 minus VGS upon 4 the whole square term. And now if you solve it algebraically, you will get a quadratic equation in terms of VGS. So you will get 0.9 VGS square minus 8.2 VGS plus 9.85 equal to 0. So solving the above equation will give us VGS value as 7.68 and VGS value as 1.423. Now we have to select the VGS value which is lesser than VP, and VP value is 4 volt. So 1.423 is less than 4 volt. That is why we select this value. Now we have the value of VGS. We can calculate the value of ID, which is coming out to be, if you plug in these values, ID value comes out to be 3.32 milliamperes. And now we apply the KVL to the drain source loop. What you will get? Minus VDD plus IDRD minus VDS plus IDRS is equal to 0. Yeah, that is what the equation is. So over here, VDS will be equal to minus VDD plus ID times RD plus RS. So you plug in all the values, VDS comes out to be negative. So VDS is minus 5.05 volt. Okay. So we have completed our discussion of finding the value of ID, VGS and VDS. In case if they ask you to plot the transfer curve and the DC load line to find the Q point of P channel JFET graphically, this is how the it looks like. It's exactly reverse of N channel JFET. So here is my DC load line, my transfer curve, and intersection of transfer curve and the DC load line will give us the Q point, IDQ and VGSQ. Okay. Now let's cross check these numbers in SPICE. So over here we have to add a register. So we are adding a register over here. And we also have to delete the N channel JFET. We have to select a P channel JFET. So we'll go over here, type PJF. You will have a P channel JFET. You connect to the circuit. So here it is my P channel JFET. Okay. Now I'll go back over here and I'll enter the new values. So here supply voltage is reversed. So what we will do is we will be holding it. Let me reverse the supply and I'll hold it like this and I reverse it. Okay, so this becomes minus 12. And now to enter the remaining values, we have to give it as 20. 20. R1 value is 68K. This is R2. This is P channel JFET, so there will be slight modifications. R2 is 20K. RD is 2.7K. And RS value is 1.8K. And we replace this by PJF1. Okay, the formula will remain the same. The parameters are 8 and 4 milliamperes. So beta value will be IDSS divided by VP square, that is 8 milliamperes divided by 4 square, which comes out to be 0.5. 0.5 into 10 is to minus 3. Okay, so here in the dot model statement, instead of NJF, we will have PJF1. And here also reserve word will be PJF. Rest, the VTO value will be positive 4 and the beta value will be 0.5. Those are the changes we have to do. And now if we go to simulate, click on run, the values will be available. Let's go to view and check the SPICE error log. Okay, this is for P channel JFET. Okay, so we got the value of VGS as, okay, this VGS is, okay, let me check out something, what error we have done. VTO is 4 volt, IDSS is 8 milliamperes. So 8 milliamperes divided by 4 square, it's coming out to be 0.5 milli. Yeah, that is correct. And VTO is 4 volt. And this JFET is P channel JFET. Yeah, it is correct. More or less everything is given correctly. Let me cross check. So over here, the value of VGG is not coming properly. So maybe I have to separate out the grounds. Then try. Okay. Let me separate out the grounds and try it once more. So here, this will be the ground for the VDD supply, and I'll add another ground over here. Here it is. Here is the other ground. Now let me check. So for the P channel JFET, supply voltage is negative, that is 20. Yeah, correct. So R1 value is 68 kilo ohms. R2 value is 20 kilo ohms. RS is 1.8 and RD is 2.7. And your JFET parameters are 8 and 4. So we have given them correctly. Dot model we have written correctly. PJF1 PJF, and the values are also given correctly. Let us simulate it and check it once more. Yeah, I guess the problem is that the values of R1 and R2 are quite less. Okay, and we have, I mean, it has to be a little bit more higher one. Let me check that. With a P channel JFET, this is the source and this is the drain terminal. Let me cross check it once more. No, I guess it won't work because it has to require the value of R1 and R2 to be extremely high. Okay, then only it might work and give you the result as properly. So in those conditions, I guess we will not be able to simulate the P channel JFET numerical, but rest all the things we have completed and it's perfectly matching. I'll come back to it if I find out the technique to check out the simulation results for a P channel JFET also. So until then, I think we have completed around 10 numericals on N channel JFET and including some P channel JFET. Next time we will start with the JFET DC biasing. So until then, have a good day and thank you.